What's going on, everybody? Doc from Average Gamer Guys back yet again into a first for the Average Gamer Guys channel. Today we are jumping into our intro of our first mobile game on the channel. So like I said, if you've been a fan of the channel, just again appreciate your continued support. We had a video that went up last week, kind of the start for 2020, just saying that we're going to try out and mix in some different things. This is one thing that I've actually wanted to do. I've thought about doing for quite a while, so we're jumping into it. I'm honestly very excited. This is a game I've played for a long time. Really enjoy it. There's some things that are a little frustrating from time to time, as with every game, but this is just one mobile game that's always had my interest. I've always kind of enjoyed it. It's definitely a grind. It's definitely one of those mobile games where you got to put some time in, but as you put the time in, I really do think you're rewarded, as like most mobile games. So you can play this game. So the game is called Last Day on Earth. Basically, it's a zombie survival game. The whole premise of the game is you have a shelter, and you're essentially trying to improve your shelter, and then you have the ability to raid different locations. There is a PvP element, or PvP element where you can play with other players. They kind of have this like clan setting and area specifically for that. I don't delve too much into it. The vast majority of what I focus on is the single player, and there are just a ton of things to do in the game. Upgrades, get different types of vehicles. It's a very, very extensive game. So what is this video going to serve for today? So this is kind of my intro for this game on the channel. One thing that I've always really enjoyed, and it's a mechanic in this game that basically allows you to go in and raid other players' bases. Now you don't actually raid their base. You basically get a stored copy of their base that you can go raid. And it's something that I've always gone to YouTube for help, for videos, for updates on these raids, for base locations, and just honestly the best loot out of them. So this is actually a series that we're going to put up, and I'm going to be running through because I raid a lot. It's like my favorite mechanic in the game. I really enjoy it, and it also hosts some of the best possible loot that you can get in the game. So it's a really important factor, I think, for pretty much everybody. If you end up playing this game, you're going to get into raids, and raids, in my opinion, are going to be, if you get the right raid, is going to be one of the most beneficial for you, for helping kind of upgrade your loot stash, get some additional things that are a little bit harder to come by. So that's what this video is going to serve for today. So if you hung through the intro, thank you so very much. I do appreciate it. I am going to have some raids on the back half of this just to talk about them a little bit, go through them, and then obviously help those that are looking specific for raid information. I will post a link down in the description below with timestamps to go right to those specific raids. And yeah. Beyond that, just enjoy. So let's talk about the game a little bit more. I'm not going to go completely in depth, but I will talk about it. So I mentioned here, this little area right here. You see the little house with the little tower, the little forest, and what looks like a plot of land. That's your home base. So everybody starts with a home base, and you have the option, like most survival games, you have the ability to upgrade this. So again, I've been playing this game for quite a while. My home base is pretty well established. Essentially, to walk you through at a base level, there are levels 1 through 4 walls, levels 1 through 4, wow, I can't say that, levels 1 through 4 floors, and then you have a whole bunch of stuff. You see all this stuff that's kind of like in a light blue. It's basically different types of workbenches, storage, and just some additional things that you're able to do. So imagine this, again, this is purely a survival game. Think of it almost, some of you will enjoy this, but think of it almost to a certain extent like Minecraft, right? Where basically you have this table of available items, base resources that you can then turn into a lot of these other things. There's an experience system. You can level up. Currently you can get to level 209. There are perks for leveling up that you can use and you can get, and you can upgrade your character. As you move through the game, you're going to be able to get more of the items to be able to build a lot of these different things. I won't go through a whole ton of this stuff, but basically you can craft armor, you can craft weapons, again you can craft vehicles, you can craft supplies like med kits, you can craft other benches, like workbenches that are going to allow you to, either dismantle gear or craft different types of supplies to then, continue your build, whether that be your base or some of the supplies that you'll need, in order to build some of the materials inside of this. So again, I've really enjoyed this game because there's a lot to do. It is a grind. Like I said, it is free to play. When I started, they started you out very, very fresh. So they gave you like a hatchet and something to mine with, so something to chop wood down, something to get stone with. It was very primitive. Nowadays, if you were to boot this game up now, I believe they start you with actually a decent, small little kind of intro to the game. You get a small little half-broken base with some stone walls, which are quite good. You get some of your workbenches already set up, and honestly, you get some gear, and I think it really is a nice start. You also get some special events, and like many other mobile games, there are special events that occur throughout time. So everything's time-based in this game. You can travel. You can travel by different means. You can run. You can drive if you have a motorcycle or the new ATV that's come out, and that uses fuel. So there's a lot of different ways to get around it. But basically, I will go ahead and leave my base here just to show you the world map a little bit, because it's important to understand how this game works. So your home base is where you can store all of your stuff. It does get attacked. That is what can get raided. But there's very easy ways to protect yourself from that and really control your important valuables. But basically, I'll just move around the map here. There are tons and tons of locations. So this right here is the PvP element. And it's not really PvP, it's co-op, I'll say, is probably better descriptor. But all these individual events, you got the gas station, you've got different levels of woods, and everything has a different marker, red being the hardest. Bunker Bravo is new as of late for this newest, it's 2 seasons now it's come out. But just tons of different locations. And you can see down here, they all take a certain amount of time. So you can see auto, run, and walk. Auto is actually new for this season. Run, you can spend your energy. You see my energy in the top left-hand corner. And then walk, it would take me 54 real actual minutes in order to get here. So it's a very interesting game. It's a very fun game. It's one of those games where you can make some good progress, play for a few 10, 15, 20 minutes at a time, and then travel. And put it down for a few hours and then come back. Or you can play pretty consistently. If you have energy or you're able to build some of the transportation, you can move around the map relatively freely with a little bit of items and a little bit of resources. So it's really, really fun. The last thing, so ATV is new. It is required to get over to these 2 locations I'm showing you on the map now, and then that opens up even more locations on this map, so I don't even quite have all of them unlocked, but it's pretty big. And again, you can see these timed events right here. So these will pop up. There are quite a few different ones, and all of them offer different resources, different scenarios, different loot that you can grab, so it's a ton of fun. In addition to that, this game does seasons. We actually just finished up with the most recent season, and I expect we'll be seeing season 5 coming out here, as this says, pretty soon. So really looking forward to that. And as you can imagine, as with most seasons in games, they give you tasks to be able to do. There's earnable loot through a system where you earn basically points for those tasks, completing them. You can complete through the season. If you're familiar with like a game like Clash of Clans, really any of them, Call of Duty, Apex, anything like that, as you progress and level up through the season, you get those additional rewards. In this game, though, it's interesting because those rewards usually a little bit more rare, usually very valuable guns, high-tier armor, or special types of materials that are really, really hard to come by, that are important for building some of the harder things like your motorcycle, like your ATV. So it's been a ton of fun. Like I said, I just wanted to do a real base intro to this game, bring it to the channel. I will probably start covering a little bit of the news, at least. I'll probably do a couple of guides as we get into some of the special events that are coming out, especially as the next season rolls out. We'll be looking forward to that. The vast majority of what we're going to do which again you'll see here in just a few minutes, is going to be talking about raids. Again, raids are a great opportunity. Use some resources, raid another player's base, and basically try to steal as much of their resources as you can. It's really fun. I've really enjoyed this game. This game's really interesting too in the fact that it has an inventory system, so you have to really be good at managing your inventory, especially when you go out from your home base. Again, you can see my armor on the right. You have weapon, a backpack, and then I actually have both utility slots unlocked, but that can be for like med kits or a secondary weapon. You see my food and water ticking down there, as well as my health up to 120. So all of those things are different things that you have to manage. This really truly is a survival game. If we were to sit here long enough, and I was to sit here long enough and not eat or drink anything in the game, I would end up dying from thirst and dehydration. I would actually lose all my health because going thirsty, going hungry slowly ticks your health down. So very fun, very interesting game. There's a very awesome system of working with your workbench, and there are tons of different guns, which I'm going to scroll through here, tons of different modifications for each of those guns. So there is just an absolute monstrous amount of things to be able to do. And like I said, I've played this game pretty consistently for probably the last two and a half years. I would consider myself in the upper portions of being advanced with it, although I am still trying to work towards my ATV and some of those things. But just have a pretty good grasp on the game. So if you played this game, please let me know down below. Like I said, I want to just give a quick overview and just talk about it a little bit, give it a little bit of an intro, again, to the first mobile game on the channel. And with that, we're probably going to pause here and pick up. We'll jump into some raids. Look forward to any questions or comments that you have. Hopefully you enjoy this series. And if you do, if there's other mobile games that you play or are interested in learning about, I play a ton of Clash of Clans. I would definitely be interested in posting that if there's any kind of support for that game or interest in that game, and any other ideas you have. Mobile games, I play games as much as I possibly can, and mobile games is a great way to be able to do that. So hopefully you enjoyed this little intro. Let me know if you have any questions about the game, and if you're here to raid, they're coming up real soon. Alright, so for those of you raiders, or those of you just sticking around checking the channel out, we're going to jump into the first raid here. I have no idea how to say that guy's name, but here's what we're bringing. I think this is important as you step into this raid, so I'm bringing 6 total hatchets. I would actually bring 7. I made one error here and actually had to bring a iron hatchet with me, so 7 or 8 standard hatchets, 2 C4, and then obviously anything you need to take down the horde here is important. For those of you that are maybe a little newer to raids, I generally tend to bring 2 full melee weapons or 3 slightly destroyed melee weapons, and then obviously plenty enough heals and some armor to keep yourself alive. So this base, honestly not too bad of a base. This is 1.15 for the current game, and we rated this I think January of 2020. So it should be very current. So the 2C4 is critical here for this base. It's not a huge base, but there are a good amount of chests. I will say for the first raid on the channel, I didn't actually do this as efficiently as I would have hoped, but we still are able to pick up some pretty good loot. So we'll try to move through the transitions here. Depending on what you're looking for, I would say there's a good amount of base materials pretty much throughout the base. So there's a good amount of planks, there's a good amount of stone. Leather is one thing that I always kind of find because I like the machetes the most. There's a decent amount of leather throughout this base. So you have 7 total chests in this first area, and then I believe you have almost an identical amount in this second area. You can approach this either way, so you could come through one of the other walls in this section as well if you wanted to. On the opposite end, would not really matter. Really, you could also separate these two. You could come into one side and then blow into the other, whatever you choose. My typical plan here, for those that may be a little newer to raiding, or again newer to this video that are just checking it out, I like to weaken up all the chests first. That really reduces the amount of noise you ended up making. We had our second transition there for zombies. So now I'm just going to kind of go through and show a little bit of what is in each box that I was able to open. I do think I miss a couple of chests, but I do know I get the most critical. If you are limited, maybe you don't have the full skill for rating as far as noise, I would recommend this needs to be your first chest. A couple of good amount of guns, definitely the full shotgun, so that that topmost left corner. The one right next to it isn't too terrible. If you need electronic circuits, always good for a raid, because that can be your reward to the raiders and increase that rep. This is probably the other good one. Health heals and food. That's some pretty good solid food. So those three chests are not bad for the start. Definitely recommend hitting that right side of the building first. We're going to throw these few things in our chopper. Here's the other nice thing, and we'll transition to this actually pretty shortly, but the nice thing about this base is it does have active spike traps. So the active spike traps, if you want to limit your weapon use, obviously you can use them to be able to do that. In addition, you can do the reset trick, essentially kill yourself, do the reset trick, and find yourself a couple of extra slots for some items. So we got another transition there for the little zombombs we had to kill, and we're basically just moving through. Again, this was a pretty good room. I definitely would recommend, if you're limited for whatever the case may be, this is a good room to raid. As you can see, we've got some pretty good base materials, we got some weapons, we got some guns. If you only have a single C4, definitely explode into that side of it. If you have the ability to have two C4, I think it's a good option to be able to go into both for sure. And I think here or soon we'll probably make the transition. We'll take a look at the last or a little bit more of the crates that we have available, I think. And obviously just trying to do some inventory management here. But again, depends what you need. That would be the one thing, and I do apologize that I was not able to get them all, but we do have some batteries, some USB drives. Again, the electronic circuit is pretty good. If you need iron for whatever the case may be, right now, since I'm still kind of on the grind to working towards the full level up, we get a little bit of aluminum here, a little bit of, actually a pretty good amount of iron as we look at it, some plates, as well as some nails in addition to that. So we're going to swap some of this out. I'm always, like I said at the beginning, I'm always looking for leather. I think it's one of the more grindy resources, if I'm being honest, just because you have to kill a lot of deer. In order to find yourself some of that. So like I said, this first room was pretty solid. I think we are close on, yeah, I'm pretty sure at this point we're going to transition. We'll just make sure our chopper is filled up. This is a good quick snapshot, if you want to pause it here, of what you can pick up from really that first room rather. We'll go through the little trick, we'll knock ourselves out, we'll put our stuff away, and we'll make our trip back and pick up just a little bit more loot. This is the part where I kind of screwed it up, I will be honest with you. The 2C4 is obviously a decent amount of noise. We're at 89 right now, which is not ideal, which means we will not be able to actually open up all of the chests. One important note with this is obviously you've seen what I've been able to loot, you've seen what I've been lucky enough to get in this pretty decent raid. What I would definitely tell you is that definitely check out some other YouTube videos, see what other else is out there. I do not know what I ended up missing, but obviously I was pretty happy with the loot we were able to get. I have not found a good option in this base because it is so small. Even with the sprint skill, did not find a very good option for being able to avoid the big one. Obviously you can wall trick him just a little bit, but it's pretty hard when you open up the base like I did in order to get him into that kind of corner and into one of those positions. So I would just keep that in mind. Obviously you can tank a couple of hits from him, but he can get into the base very quickly, and then again you can't really route him around the outside or anything else like that. Trust me, I tried for probably about 10 or 15 minutes to no avail. So as I always do, I like to loot up pretty much full as we're getting close. I think I opened one more chest. I think I try to crack open a couple more, and I believe I am unsuccessful in that, unfortunately. But giving you another quick look at each of the chests that you have available, again, depending on what resource you're looking for. Yeah, I was able to get one more. So this one was not bad either. If you're looking for tickets, I always take tickets. It's always confused me why people in raids don't. It doesn't seem like a lot. However, it's one of those things where some of that stuff is way better than others. I think I actually ran out. I did. So you would actually, if you really wanted to open all the chests, you would need one more hatchet or a couple of more of just the standard wood hatchets. And I played this ring around the rosy posy game with this guy, and then end up, like I said, I take a couple more smacks. I'm not able to get into the base effectively, and we'll just close this one out. And I will do with any of the raids coming up. Again, if you stuck around for the entirety of the video, thank you so much. Welcome to this series. If you're here just for the raid, welcome to the raid. We're going to be posting a lot more that we have done, so hopefully this guide was beneficial for you. And as we close out, I'm Doc from Average Gamer Guys. Here's a quick look at the loot from the second half. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked it, hit that like button, give a follow, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.